I just showed the camera my new hat.
Hey. It's time to play.
So this is the 30th episode. You know, when we started this back in April, it was hard to imagine.
It feels like a long time ago.
It does, but it's been so much fun. And, you know, people, it's just fun to be around Michelle, right, from the 1855 Coffee House. We went down there today, you and I, and she said, "How was your trip?" And it's just kind of fun because people know what we're doing, and it's something to relate, you know, to them and such like that. And Katie Blair Shear, she's talked with us about different things, and they did a remodel and some painting down there. We're going to talk about that today. BJ, Ruland, we see Ruben. We hear from Sally. Sally's not local. She's from
Pensacola,
Florida. Yeah. And we, you know, there's Cal, the radical podcaster.
Guess what today is?
Yeah.
Happy birthday. It's Cal's birthday today. So happy birthday to the radical podcaster.
Yeah. We always tease about that, but Cal is a great friend of the podcast. You know,
Friend
he
of
and
the
Aaron.
family. Yep.
Yeah, he and Aaron from
Handle Bar Performance
right here in Mazomanie up
the
there.
The pun is intended.
Yeah, exactly.
It's their last name.
And so happy birthday, Cal. We really appreciate you and letting us kind of pick at you and you pick back at us. So that's great. I hope the little family is growing and going well.
So we've got 30th episode.
Yeah.
We've got all things Wisconsin Heights Weekly, what was happening in Mazo.
Joe will bring us that, and then Mazo Sitewise with Johnny and the rest of us.
And then we've also, instead of an interview this week, because you guys were gone, we're going to talk about your trip, have some videos, different things that you guys did. And then Drew will be back on later this afternoon, and we'll do some recording of the whatever he decides to do, whether it's this day in history or a state. So
I
we're
think
looking forward to that.
Be a lot of fun.
So should we?
I don't know why we
should we keep talking about it. Why don't we sit here and just
keep talking about it? People are start the music.
Yeah.
You know, hit the open. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, this is Bill DeWeese, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach, and this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
We're going to need to decide here before we get started. I think what we're going to need to decide is whether we want to stay sponsor free. What do I got? Stuff on me? Sponsor free, or whether we're going to let corporate America take over our podcast, because we have sponsors now that want to sponsor us.
Sponsors?
Yeah.
Or one?
Well, we have one for sure, and I've heard that there's kind of an angel investor that's wanting to sponsor this podcast. But we have reverse sponsors for people that don't maybe have the money or don't believe in us yet.
Yeah,
or don't even know that they're being that we are sponsoring them. You got that stuff right on your. I don't know what that is. That's probably a napkin or something.
He's good.
You're good now.
But today we have a little bit later on in the podcast, we have our first. Well, not our first reverse sponsor, but we have a reverse sponsor commercial. Remember? We're going to have that one. We're going to have a commercial.
Yep, we sure will.
Are you with me on that?
I'm with you on that.
100%.
I just saw something. I thought there were bugs flying around, but it was just the napkin falling off your face. You're good. They're like fuzz.
I washed my hair before the podcast, and things are falling off of me. I think it's part of the towel, actually.
That's what it looks like to me.
So anyway, that's the decision we're going to have to make, is whether we're going to want corporate America to take over and start to tell us how to run this podcast, because we're a freewheeling bunch, and they're going to come in here and start to take over and tell us or if we're going to just be totally
dictating.
like public television, like a public broadcast.
Brought to you by viewers like you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's going to come up. Who is that? Who is our sponsor this week?
I don't remember.
Isn't it?
Is it Katie Blair Shear
in the second
chapter resale?
And when we get to the what's happening in Mazo, if I'll ever let go of the reins here,
Mazo Mani site-wise.
Site-wise, then I'll just bring up what's happening there down at the second chapter resale.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. So this is our 30th episode of the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. It's going to look a little different this week. We're going to, instead of having an interview, we're going to talk about your guys' trip to, where'd you go?
So we flew into Myrtle Beach, but we stayed in Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina, which is about 40 minutes or so northeast of Myrtle Beach.
And the reason you were there was because Drew had a work commitment, had to go meet with a bunch of agencies, right?
Travel, yeah. It was, it was way more than just a commitment.
Yeah, well, it was some sort of commitment.
2 weeks he was gone.
Yeah. So, true. Yeah, I think do we have the windows open, Dad?
I don't think so.
We're just letting Mazo in right now.
Sights and sounds.
Yeah. We're just letting Mazo come on in.
This is
all
the
right.
kind of stuff,
That's what
though, that if
happens.
corporate comes in,
They're gonna
you
want
get a lot
that
of
out.
sponsors. They're going to say,
clean
"Hey,
that
you've
up.
got to be a ship shape. You got to straighten this shit. You got to do something. You got to get this show
On the road.
and,
you gotta be able to
get a
put
tighter
sentences
ship.
together.
That's what I was trying to say.
Tighter
You got to
ship.
run a tighter
Yeah,
ship.
tighten that ship up.
talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Figure out what they're talking about.
Yeah. So this is the 30th episode as I
Oh, number 3-0.
3-0. Yeah.
Joe Bob's almost 3-0.
Yep.
There you have
almost,
it.
but-
That's
Very soon.
Silky segue there.
Yeah.
So let's start out with Wisconsin Heights Weekly.
Yeah.
Joe, hit us off.
So, as we talked last week, the volleyball team was heading to Darlington for their playoff game, and they ended up losing. So they ended up the season 5-14.
Tough.
So
That's not normal for Wisconsin Heights volleyball. Usually we're a
I think they're a little bit. I think they're in a little bit of a rebuild right now. Then the football team was coming to the end of their season with their final game last night in Neenah.
Which was last Friday night.
Yep.
Because this is we're posting
Wednesday.
this on Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Yep.
So are they done?
Yeah, they are done as well, and they ended the season 4-3.
Did they lose last night? Or
Correct.
We don't.
But they don't
Correct.
play in the playoffs, remember, because they're too
Yeah, don't
big.
get me started on that.
Yeah.
That we're like 15 or 20 kids over the limit, and they won't let them play in the playoffs. It's like, okay, whatever. They wouldn't have made it this year anyway, so I guess it's a moot point.
Did everybody make the playoffs or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would doubt it.
Anything else going on?
The soccer team also ended their season. It was a nail biter in their playoff game. I don't think they were supposed to win that game, but they lost 1-0.
Oh, 1-0.
1-0.
Yep.
So all the teams are done?
Yep.
Is there
Well,
lacrosse
I don't
going?
know about the cross. I don't have
cross
any
country.
inside information on the cross country teams.
Kirk Caminetti
Yep.
and the cross country team?
Yep.
The running vanguards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then last week was parent-teacher conferences, so they had 3 days off, and now it's back to a regular school schedule.
Oh, it's tough to
this week.
grind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back to the grind. You and
This
I
was
were in the
always-
same hat.
This was
Exactly.
always the best time of year, though, for schools because you had so many things going on. So many, you have like Thanksgiving.
Breaks.
Breaks. You got Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. You got all sorts of breaks coming up. But once you get past that,
How
it's like,
depressing after
yeah, it is.
January 3rd or something like that. It's like, okay, when's the next break?
Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had a break since Easter.
Since Easter's.
Yeah, right.
Did you guys like parent teacher conferences? Did you ever did any of you guys ever, because like sometimes they'll say, you can bring your child with you. And I see some, once in a while, Mom and I would go and we'd see some people and I know exactly what kind of people go with they're the smart ones. They're the ones that are doing really well.
You don't bring your kid if
They're
it's
not
doing
afraid
really
of what's
poorly.
going to be said.
No.
Yeah, I never showed up with my parents to the parent teacher conferences.
No, but
I
none
was
of
just
you-
confident in
your
how I was
confidence
doing.
said, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just go ahead and go.
Got nothing on me.
Yep. But you guys all fine when parent teacher conferences came along?
Yeah.
living the life and doing your best and hanging in there.
Yeah.
We are on the line with Kim Hauser.
Nice.
Oh.
We're talking with her people, and she's talking with our people, and we're hopefully going to get
No,
her on.
her people are talking to your people. Right? See that?
No.
You said that you're talking to her people, and she's talking to our people.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Our
that doesn't
people are
work.
talking to her people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because
Right.
that's how big.
Yeah,
things
we're
are.
big. We don't even
It's
represent
not even
ourselves.
It's not even on her radar yet.
No.
But it will
Our
be.
agents are talking with her agents.
Yes.
and
There
we're
we go.
getting a deal.
And Kim has supposedly said the word is out that she said she'd like to be on the
Nice.
podcast, and so we're talking November because she's got a busy October, and so we're coming to the end of. I mean, this is
unreal.
playing. We're showing this the last week. In next Monday, when this plays, next Monday is Halloween already.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's the last day of the month, of course.
It sure is.
So we'll have Kim Hauser from Wisconsin Heights. Speaking of school, we'll have her next month as a star guest.
Nice.
That'll be a good interview, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fun.
Which one of you is going to vie to be up here with Hudson and I? Who
Whatever.
Like you
I
were
never
actually
had
in
her.
her classes.
I had a couple of her classes.
Deshaun
I really
and
liked.
Demond were.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I really liked.
I had her.
I really liked her classes.
I didn't have her, but I liked
I never
greenhouse
made it.
management.
I was actually the first
liked her as a teacher.
class in the greenhouse that they had built.
The inaugural.
So you helped build it.
Yep.
Joe built this greenhouse.
The greenhouse that Joe built.
Yeah.
They met. You
have a
in the
greenhouse, yep.
Well, we met in the classroom and then we walked.
Oh,
through
I
the-
see.
You do the plants and all
Yeah.
that. Shadow dancer Marsha Fuchsia.
And this
What is it? It's Wisconsin. What's it called? The Wisconsin Garden.
Greenhouse. The Van Garden.
Van Garden.
Garden.
Yeah.
When you really hit it big here on this podcast, you'll be a celebrity, and they'll name the greenhouse after you.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
Joe Barstas.
In memory of Joe Barsness.
Maybe that's
Memorial.
a thing Kim could think about is
Name
naming
it.
it the Joe
Naming
Barstas.
rights.
Yeah, that'd be tough because she'll probably want to name it after herself
I would think.
because she's the
She
one
kinda
who
deserves it,
started
I
it. And
guess.
she
She's
has
not
to
that
say,
type of a person.
No.
She would
Yeah.
need us. Hey, good point. She would need us.
start a partition.
Yeah, to bring. She would need us to bring that up on the podcast, which helped me remember
petition.
that
We
she should.
talk about naming rights to the Vanguard.
The what?
Naming rights.
Naming rights. I just said naming rights.
Naming rights to the Vanguard.
I've never heard of
we
naming
could,
rights.
we could call it.
The Raymond rights?
Naming rights. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. But naming rights to the Vanguard.
Yeah.
We could call it the original Father Son podcast.
She wouldn't go for that. She'd probably go for a Joe Barsness podcast
Yep.
before, or Garden, Van Garden. Van Garden is probably going to stay there, but
Yeah,
it could
it
be the
makes
Kim
sense.
Hauser Van Garden. She's been there a long time now.
She has. She's
How many years do
Great
you think she's
teacher.
been there? I don't want to keep going on with this, but you think she's
she
been
was
there 20
there-
years?
Well, I was 2005, so that's almost
15,
Was that
17.
her? Was that her first year?
No. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the math
I
because
bet you it's probably close to 20.
yeah,
Maybe she'll
It is.
tell us when she comes
Because
on.
I don't
For
really
sure she will.
remember. I'm trying to think if she was there when I was like in middle school.
yeah.
I don't really recall.
recall.
Well, Dan Jurgens watches this
Yeah.
all the time. I mean, he's over somewhere else. He's not around this area.
I think he's in Nepal.
doing
I think he's in Nepal.
Nepal.
We're worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's watching there and he likes our podcast all the time. So thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you,
There's
Dan.
probably several people over there that are watching
Yeah.
it with him now.
Yeah.
Climbing
And-
Mount Everest.
Yep.
Yeah.
And their yak.
The Sherpas listen to it on their headset when they're
As they're
going up and down.
the summit.
And so there's Dan, and of course there's Jerry Springstead
Yep.
And Jet.
and Jet. They watch all the time, and she was a teacher, so maybe they could just give a comment of how long they think Kim Hauser.
I would think
been
they
here.
probably got it going on in the teachers' lounge.
Oh,
There
yeah,
nowadays.
Good point. I never thought about that. Yeah.
Just on a loop.
The podcast.
When
You're
I was
saying.
when I was
Yeah.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but when I was in high school, went by the teachers' lounge, they opened that door. It's a billow of smoke. They could smoke then.
Yeah.
Of course, we could smoke then. If you were
Boxing.
16 years old, there was a smoking area at Heights, and they the by the band room there in the old high school, when you would go by the girls' bathroom, they always had smoke puffing out of theirs. But what they did then to get the boys not to smoke in the boys' room, they took the doors off our toilets.
The doors off your toilets?
Yeah.
Off the.
So you had no privacy.
Not the doors off your toilets.
So the girls didn't do that to the girls.
Stall.
Off the stall.
The doors off the stall.
Yeah.
Toilets don't have doors.
Right,
Girls.
but they took
you.
it off of there, and so if you wanted to use the bathroom there, it was wide
Right
open.
there.
It was not
Wild West in
That's
there.
not reason enough to quit smoking. The privacy.
Yeah, I'd start
It's
getting
reason
people
enough to stop
smoking.
using the bathroom at
No,
school.
but it seemed unfair to me because if there were guys smoking in there, and there were girls smoking in there, they should take the doors off
Yeah. Oh.
the stalls of both. But they didn't. They left the stalls on for the girls, and they took the boys off.
But was the problem that the boys were smoking in the stalls, or were they just smoking in the bathroom? Because that seems like the punishment doesn't really fit.
I don't know
because
why.
now folks don't even want to use the bathroom at all in there, but they could still go in and smoke.
Right. Well, I think there was both going on.
Okay.
You could have a more private smoke if you
Oh,
went into
yeah.
the stall.
Or then you
but-
could social smoke.
Right. But I never used those bathrooms anyway. I went way down
Yeah.
Dungeons.
to the dungeon.
Yes.
Yep. And went down there.
Which are no longer a
They're
thing
not there
anymore.
It's too bad.
Too bad.
Well, I mean, there's still a bathroom there, I think, but
Okay.
they're not longer the dungeon bathrooms.
Yes, they're gone.
yeah. So anyway, back to Kim Hauser.
Yeah.
We went all the way. Sorry about
Which
that,
was
Kim.
close.
That
The
was
dungeon bathrooms are close to
Close
her.
Close to
room.
her place. Yes,
But
You hardly can talk about
old
Kim
lady.
Hauser in that area without talking about the dungeon
dungeons.
bathrooms.
Yeah.
But Aniela Haas.
Yep.
What was her maiden name?
Lemansky.
Lemansky. She commented.
She sure
this
did.
week. And she was a
Thank
former
you.
teacher for quite a few years, band teacher.
She was my
Right?
band teacher.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
how many years? She must have been there 10 years
She
almost.
was 4 years for me.
Yeah.
She was Drew's senior year.
1 year.
Drew's
So
senior year.
2008 to probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got, but the
something
point
like
being is if we wanted to find out a lot about how we could have a committee of Dan and Jerry and
We can get to the bottom of
Aniela,
this.
yeah, and find out
We
how
have
long
ways.
she's been here.
Before
on
she
here.
comes on
So,
in November.
once again, we are a podcast that listens, just to let BJ know that. But thank you to Aniela Lemansky-Haas for the comment, and we're glad that our podcast helps you through the workday. So she said that Florida was very helpful. So anyway, that was wonderful.
It's
Be like
therapeutic. It's
Aniela.
therapeutic is
Be
what
like
it is.
Aniela. Like it. Comment on our
Subscribe.
Yep. Subscripciones. Let's go on to what we see
Site-wise.
site-wise in Mazo.
You mean site-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, let me say,
So, the big thing that I saw this week, and Damon will show a picture here. Roundy's is doing something on, I guess it would be the northeast corner of their, where the trucks come in. And they're
Sure
cutting
glad
up,
you know your boundaries.
yeah, cutting up the lot there, the cement there. I don't know what they're gonna put there.
Like the parking lot area you're talking
Yep,
about there?
Yep. And Vanguard yesterday was there marking some stuff, but I don't know for sure if somebody knows what's gonna. I don't know if they're gonna redo that area
They're adding on maybe
or adding
whatever.
on, or you know they have that.
Seemed like they had
that
too much
check-in-
parking to begin with, but
Yeah, they have that check-in thing for trucks. I think that little
Bay area.
trailer.
Yeah,
Trailer.
checkpoint
Maybe they're
check-in.
putting in something there. That's what putting in a building there. I don't know because it's right next to the entrance.
we gotta
on
get to the
right.
We
bottom
gotta
of
get
this.
somebody who knows.
So there's a picture. Demond will show that. And what else? I don't.
Is that all you had?
You're the star.
Well, they started the week. I wasn't able to report it, but
Joe may have.
Oh, okay.
Burying the
yeah,
okay. Joe talked about that,
I wasn't
which-
there
That's
for that,
old
and I
news.
apologize that I
That's-
didn't
yeah,
watch my.
that's
do
okay.
my- so
that's all right.
what
You
I
guys had a
had,
busy week.
but I think somebody else.
I
had
was down at
something.
1855 Coffee House, and I met
When was this?
today, Saturday. Yep. Good. Thanks for checking me on that.
Wow.
And I met Jim Green. He bought the Pink House
That we talked
down-
about
D'Arienzo House.
D'Arienzo House.
House.
That's
A couple weeks
down
ago, we talked about that.
kitty
on the
corner
segment.
from
The
or
old
across the
elementary
street,
school.
the old elementary school. And I met him and talked with him and had a nice conversation over a cup of coffee. Wasn't expecting that, but that's what happens when you go down and you hang out.
And you
At the
schmooze with the
1855,
locals.
you
Reason enough.
Yep, exactly. So that was interesting. Learned a little bit about him. He was a professor at the UW, and he's originally from Southwest Minnesota. So
Oh, wow.
You know, the nice thing about it is being part of a small town. When you are a celebrity on a huge podcast like this, you can still go down there, and there's people that don't even know you, and the ones that do, they just treat you just like everyday folk. They don't gush over you.
It's almost like they don't even know you have a podcast.
It's almost like they
really
don't know.
nice.
Yeah,
They pretend
that's
that,
the nice thing.
And I was a little bit. I was in a costume so that people wouldn't recognize me.
You're in a costume.
I was. Well, I was.
It's not even Halloween yet.
But it's close.
Costume.
I was in.
Do you have Groucho
Incognito.
Marx?
You were incognito.
Oh yeah.
I was
You didn't
wearing a
have your-
hat and.
yeah. So people.
And so
How
they
about-
couldn't
how about
recognize me.
You were in a disguise. You were wearing a
Well,
disguise.
a costume disguise. It's kind of close.
I don't know. I'm thinking Halloween costume.
It's very close to Halloween, though.
Did
I
you
could
have
have had
face paint on?
I had a toupee on because I
A
don't
few
have
weeks,
hair.
a few weeks
People don't
ago,
recognize
we
me
talked
when I-
about seeing Judy Curtis down
Yeah,
there,
uh-huh.
and
Heidi Wolf
yep,
and Mrs. Dewar.
and
Teresa Dewar.
and it was just like, hey,
Stop.
hey,
Don't.
folks, come on,
Stop.
let's back
Don't.
back off.
I
a
know
little
we're
bit.
a big deal, but let's.
This is my weekend.
This
Yeah.
is my weekend. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm trying to unplug.
I'm unplugging.
Sure, I'll
here.
take a selfie. Yeah.
I'll sign
Yeah.
a couple autographs.
But
Whatever.
then,
Hudson's
but
the
I
kind of guy
think
that would probably be signing autographs, and people wouldn't even want
He'd be
them.
grabbing pieces of paper.
sure you. But that was nice of Jim.
Yeah.
Not to treat you like you're somebody
like a
different,
celebrity.
like you're
It's
somebody
nice.
special.
I just want to be a normal person.
Yeah, that's why you live
I
in a
don't want-
small
yeah.
town. Your life is so
I'm trying to be a good person.
your life is so fast paced, fast moving, and
It is.
highbrow that it's nice to be able to just. It makes you more humble when you're around people.
Yeah, it's
like
nice
that.
to just meld in
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, we better get to it because
Real quick.
we know you.
So, second chapter resale. Katie Blair Shear, former guest on
Sponsor.
our
Alum.
podcast.
Reverse sponsor,
Reverse sponsor
of this podcast.
this week. They painted their store and did some rearranging, and it looks really nice.
What
it
type
really
of
does.
color was it?
What color is it now? I think it's like a whitish
Oh, okay.
color.
Like
Looks
an
real
eggshell?
clean and organized. What's that?
Like an eggshell?
I don't know. I'm not that good with
You
colors.
can look it up on What's Happening Mazo if
Okay.
you want.
So anyway, Katie, it looks great. You guys did a nice job, and like we said in our commercial, I won't go into detail, but this is a great time to go down there. They always have special deals. There's even things like you could get for costumes. It's a great place to get costumes
is,
for Halloween, dress up stuff. And there's still time for that because we're
It's not Halloween yet.
posting this a few days before Halloween. There's lots of harvest and Halloween stuff going on downtown and in our area. You want to check out the Facebook What's Happening in Mazo. They're posting there all the time. But like there's trick-or-treaters coming up this next Monday.
Is it the
Yep.
New Heights Trunk or Treat?
Yep. And there's going to be live music at the Iron Hop Tap House. That's just a couple of weeks
It's
old.
the Pink Building.
Yep, and it's going to be on November 18th. They're going to have live music there. A guy was strapped on a guitar. I can't remember his name, but he's going to play there.
It wasn't the Terry Daniels band, was it?
Terry Douglas.
Terry Douglas. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
a little bit, but it wasn't. There's also always, if you drive on Highway 14, there's always specials at Carr Valley Cheese.
There
Oh.
is. And that hits
That
home,
it's home
for you,
me,
especially
yeah. Yep.
being the grandson and son of a.
Cheesemaker.
Yeah.
Yep. And then just going a little farther away because we are we're a global
Worldwide.
and we're
Yeah.
we're diversity. We're into diversity. We're not just Mazo.
Nope.
We do Black Earth, Cross Plains,
Baraboo.
Arena Spring Green, the Hex and Pecs. We've
Petting
seen
Zoo,
them.
stuff like
Yep,
that.
we've seen them, and they've got pumpkins out there, and you can go and I saw.
Corn maze.
Yep.
Pumpkins.
And then finally, like I could go on, but like Mazo Hardware always has some special things going on too. So there's lots of things going on that you can take advantage of this Halloween this fall, right around here in the
Get
Mazo,
out
Maney,
and
Black
support
Earth
your
area.
local businesses. That's what we are all about.
Yep.
So
That's what we're all about.
We don't have, speaking of trick or treating, we don't have the. So
No.
growing up, we used to have a lot of kids on this block,
Kid population, yeah.
and it has gone down significantly. Our house, the three of us live together, Joe, Drew, and I.
5 houses down.
And we hand out regular sized candy bars.
king size, correct?
Nope.
No,
Regular
Regular size. Okay.
Which
No,
are
there's a
kind of king
difference.
size.
Let
Yeah.
us hand them out.
Yep.
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 Okay,
So anyway,
I just want people to know what.
yeah, we're not
What
getting
size
into
is
regular
wrong
size, but
information.
that's why we said regular
Some
size.
people-
Some people think
Right.
that regular size are the small ones.
No.
No,
those are
that's
bite
fun
size.
size.
Who thinks that?
People who don't get king size or regular size a lot.
Are you saying like regular size for what people hand out? on
Yes,
Halloween?
exactly. That
Yes.
people
Okay.
might think that the regular
give you that.
size is
That's
the little
wrong,
things.
though.
Anyway,
I get
So
that.
get that right.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
anyway, so anyway, we hand those out, and we don't have near the amount of people coming up that we do. So if you come up on Whitechapel,
What
Street,
is your what's
well,
your we don't want to give
we'll
away
just
your
say that
address.
if there's so many people, fans and stuff like that will want to come. Then it's just this is just more of saying that what it once was to what it is now.
Yeah.
And there are people on this block that are handing out candy. So come on by.
All right.
Yeah. Yep. South of 14.
Mm-hmm.
Come to the houses south of 14.
And say that you heard about it right here
Yeah,
on the
on the
original
podcast.
Father-Son
Yep.
voiceover podcast.
You might even get 2
Yeah.
if you name drop.
Yeah. It's important. So
So that scratch our itch for that.
I'm good with it.
All right. This week we do not have an interview, but we do have a travel log of sorts with these 3. So we will be doing that with some visual aids.
little
and,
history on the
that'll be after that. So
Oh,
we'll
okay.
talk
Sorry.
about that.
My
That's
bad.
okay. No, that's fine. So we'll be right back.
So we'll get back to the original Father-Son voiceover podcast in just a moment. You know, most podcasts have sponsors who financially support them, but not here on the original Father-Son voiceover podcast. We have reverse sponsors, sponsors we do free marketing for. Today's reverse sponsor is the Second Chapter Resale and their owner, Katie Blair Shear. And we had her at a
We did
guest
have her
just
on
a few weeks ago. That was a great
She was
time.
wonderful. Yeah.
Second Chapter Resale is located at 106 Broadhead Street, downtown Mazomanie, right down by the library, right by the tracks down there, by the museum. Visit their website or Facebook page for the days and hours that they're open. They have gently used clothing at reasonable prices. The inventory changes daily, so there's always something new to check out. And they have weekly sales on already low prices. And just so you know, there's Halloween is coming up too, and maybe you don't look for clothing there, but you might look for costumes there to dress
Oh.
up. Just a little tidbit, just a little
Is a
thought.
costume different than clothing?
Well, probably not, but
Okay.
in this case,
You might be able to piece
you
together.
might be able to piece it together.
There you go.
So, Second Chapter Resale. Katie Blair Shear, this episode's reverse sponsor on the original Father-Son voiceover podcast. Now, with that said, if you'd like to help actually sponsor the original Father-Son voiceover podcast, all it costs is $14 an episode. And what that is basically it's just a promotion of the Facebook page that we have, so it gets out to more people. And we already have one local business that has signed up to sponsor, and that business owner is going to sponsor in November. So
Nice.
you can be a part of that.
Yeah.
Get in on the ground floor. There's only one. Be the second one.
Yeah, true. Be number
And,
2.
and how do they get a hold of us if
Yes.
they do want to sponsor?
Yep. So you can go to our Facebook page and message us. You could message me, Hudson Barsness. You can also, like I said, the Facebook page, the original Father-Son voiceover podcast Facebook page. Drop us a message. You can leave a comment in one of our podcast episodes, any of our videos. Or you could email me at hudsonbarsness@yahoo.com. All lower cases. So that's how you can get a hold of us if you'd like to be a sponsor. Any other questions, feel free to shoot them at us. So
Now back to more of the original Father-Son voiceover podcast.
all right. You guys need my phone for
Yeah, let's do that real
Okay.
quick.
John remembers. He's already said he's gone on record saying his memory
that
is
trip
like
was great.
No, let's. If you don't mind, then we'll stay on.
We'll just
go
we'll just
way with it, okay?
okay.
So we're welcoming people back to the second part of the original
Yeah, welcome
Father-Son
back.
voiceover podcast.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
Yeah. And
We're going to do a little travel log here of your guys' trip to Wilmington and
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
I thought you said that earlier.
We go a little south of it. Yep. I don't think we ever got into Wilmington proper. At least I didn't. Drew did maybe. But.
We traveled to see our cousin, but that was around. We went around, all up and around Wilmington.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see some of these, Joe?
I'm taking a glance over your shoulder right
You
now.
could definitely squeeze
You-
on the
if you
couch.
want to go
Well, he
like
wouldn't have a
this,
microphone.
if you want to
You
go
could
like
be, you
that,
could be right in the middle.
No,
I could be in the middle.
No,
Oh, true.
I got good eyesight.
He's got good
right
Okay.
eyesight.
Plus,
Okay.
I watch on the podcast.
Oh, true.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart.
But I want to react to it right now.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll
'Cause
give
that's
you
the whole
some.
point.
So Drew went to North Carolina, South Carolina. Those are your two areas as a bond agent for West Bend.
I'm an underwriter.
I can never get that
Yeah,
straight.
that's all
It's
right.
like I say that every time.
Yeah, you call me an agent, but that's just fine.
Secret.
Agent.
I don't.
It's all right. I'm
Mom
just
takes
saying.
care of the insurance and everything important. I just talk in a booth.
I'm an underwriter.
Sure,
a
insurance
bond-
underwriter.
a
Drew, if you're
bond
not part of,
underwriter.
if you're not part of
IU.
voiceover, Dad doesn't remember.
Insurance underwriter. Okay.
Bond
so,
underwriter.
Bond underwriter. And you went in your territories. I got this right, though.
do.
North Carolina, South Carolina,
know your
and
boundaries.
Ohio.
That's because you went there.
and Virginia.
And Virginia, of
Yeah.
course.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, so go ahead.
So you were
Wait,
down
was this,
there.
Was this your trip, Dad?
No,
Okay.
I'm
He's
just,
helping.
go.
He's just the
He's just
narrator.
building
I'm just
Yeah,
the
he's just-
narrator.
yeah.
Okay.
And so you went. We took you to the Madison Airport, Dane County Airport, on Saturday, like what, the 13th the 8th of October?
Yeah.
The 8th of October. And then we had plans. You were busy visiting agents,
Right. There you go.
insurance agents and agencies
Yep.
that week, and you had like 32 visits, which is a lot. And then Jonathan and I and Mom left here on Thursday, October 13th. It was snowing that day. Remember that?
Kind of a snowy,
and rainy.
sleeting kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
We drove into the airport. The Dane County Airport is very nice. I mean, it's got some construction right now, but it's small,
Yep.
easy to get around on. Our flight was
Like 13 gates versus, places like O'Hare or Charlotte that are just.
we had to fly into Charlotte, and we had like an 11-minute walk,
44-minute layover. Yep.
and we were just on time. So we were like the old O.J. Simpson Hertz things. And we
And
had to run
McAllister's
through.
and Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to run through. Literally, we ran, dodging people,
Yep.
and we got to
The gate.
To the gate, got on. Everything was on time, and we got to Myrtle Beach that night. And you were where that Thursday night? Where were you located at that point?
Thursday night, I was in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Yep.
I had two visits there, one visit at night and then one visit in the morning there in Hilton Head. And that is an island, obviously, Hilton Head Island.
Is it an island in the stream?
It's very difficult, very difficult to get to because it's just one way on and one way off.
really? Just-
lots and lots. So it's really commercial too. So that's not. I'm not saying
Yes,
you shouldn't
Joe.
go there, but
Right, it was.
Myrtle
it was
Beach
busy.
was much like that. I mean, in the sense, I haven't been there
Commercial.
obviously, but it was very busy
Yes.
in areas, and it was fine. But
So we stayed overnight in a hotel on Myrtle Beach, and then we met you near Ocean Island,
Ocean Isle Beach.
Ocean Isle Beach,
Isle.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we didn't stay right on the beach, but we were about 2 miles away from the beach in a little development area in a VRBO. And
Not
that was
sponsored yet.
we stayed there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and yes, they're not a sponsor yet.
Yep. The four of us did.
So anyway, just before that, when the week before that, kind of going backwards here for a moment, you sent us, and I know you saw this on the podcast, but it's last week, but it's amazing. And so you showed us this picture
Right here, Demond.
from your motel room on the you were on the first floor.
I sure was.
And you can see that beautiful mountain off to the right there,
Yep.
and this beautiful landscape. And then just a few minutes later, you said, I've got to one-up myself. And you showed this video of when I saw it, my eyes aren't the greatest anymore. And I had my reading glasses on, and I thought there was a bear. Mom's the same way. She thought there was a bear in a trash bag, but there were two bear
There were two
kind
bears.
of fighting over something.
And honestly,
Was the
for
bear
the sake
picking
of
up
this,
litter?
for the sake of this podcast, I almost went out and intervened because I said, listen, this is bear wrestling, folks. We can't be doing this. But I don't know the law in North Carolina.
Yeah,
I figured that maybe they knew the law
this is
better than
illegal
I
in
did,
Alabama.
so maybe it's legal.
close.
Well,
so I decided not to interfere because I'm not a local.
If you couldn't wrestle, then you should try to grin it. No.
True.
But what you could have
down a
done
bear.
is you could have gotten another person staying there and bet who was going to win.
Well,
now that would have really been illegal.
illegal. Yeah. So anyway, this one here is of the bear.
Is it a video or a picture?
This one I think is just a picture.
I think it's a picture, yep.
Yep, that's the one picture of the bear.
Okay, Damon.
Which it's a pretty good size. It's a pretty good size black bear. I think.
It makes you not want to go out for an evening walk.
It was
in
right
that
there.
area.
I mean, they've got this little whatever this is.
Railing.
I would say that's a
Mezzanine?
railing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the tree is probably 15 feet tall. So it's not like it's a huge tree, but that's a good size black bear, I would say.
Like, how close could it have been to jumping on top of that dog?
Right here, it would probably be like 7-8 feet away from there.
Oh, that's not that far.
No.
You could hear it rustling around in this video.
Yeah,
But you couldn't hear it wrestling around. That's good.
wrestling. Yeah.
Wrestling.
So he could play the video right now.
Yeah. And we'll show you just at first it kind of looks like just one big black bear, but then you can tell if you look closely, just a little bit below that black bear, there's another one.
Yep.
2 for the price of one right there.
2 bears in a tree.
Yep.
Two
So
bears
anyway,
in the bush.
that's the bear that I saw, and that was probably 50 feet from where I was standing, and fortunately I was inside.
Were there other people around you that you saw?
Not
that
in
were
my
like,
room. No, they weren't.
Okay. So there weren't
Huddle
other...
up, guys. Get in my room real quick here. Yeah.
I just didn't know if other people were taking pictures.
Yeah.
If you
I
saw them
didn't see
outside.
anybody. I didn't see any. There could have been somebody to my right, maybe, because I couldn't really see over to that area. But I didn't see anybody else. But I showed a few agents this, and then there were a
Nice.
few agents up in that area that also had animal pictures they wanted to show me. I thought, well, this is kind of my thing. I want to show you mine. I'm
Don't
not from around here.
hijack my...
Yeah, they kind of did that.
That's
to
kind of
me.
impressive, though, that, you saw that, and then they probably were impressed by you being near that, you know?
The animal whisperer. I was a bear whisperer
And
out there.
That probably is going to help business a little bit. That
would
you
think
are
so.
willing to go in deep if you need to into, wildlife.
If there wasn't that rail there, I probably was going to tell people that I was out in the wilderness.
He was
hiking
camping.
around,
Yeah.
and that's what I saw. I was that close, but they wouldn't believe that. Anyway, so that's that.
Then
And
that was actually before we got down there. You sent that when we were up here in Wisconsin.
That was Tuesday night in Black Mountain, North Carolina. Beautiful area. Beautiful area.
Okay.
Now scroll forward
Yep.
to when we're at our Verbo. We went down to the ocean.
Yep.
Just to take a look at the beach because we're not from that area and we like to see the ocean. And this was in Ocean Island.
Isle.
Why can't I
Ocean
get that
Isle
right?
Beach.
Ocean Isle
I don't
Beach,
know.
North
Fine.
Carolina. And we went down there and we saw that they were getting ready for a festival.
Yeah.
And I said in the car, I went on record of saying, oh, it's probably just a small local little thing and we can come down here and check it out. And we all said, let's go ahead and do that.
Yep.
Well, it was Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
And it was like shock of all shocks.
Thousands of people.
Thousands and thousands of people. I don't know if it was in the
What was
tens
it?
of
What was
thousands, but it was
What was it
thousands.
called? What was the name of the?
It
was the
is.
annual-
I think it's the North Carolina Oyster Festival,
Oh,
but
cool.
it's in Ocean Isle Beach.
So anyway, we got some videos about that,
Yeah.
and that was fun.
Yeah,
We had
that was fun to do something different.
Saturday, this is a video.
Do you want them on to play a collage of them?
A montage?
A montage?
I don't
of
care,
them?
but this was
We're gonna-
the one that we're
just
looking
gonna
at right
react to them, I
now.
think.
Is that was Friday actually?
That was Friday, yeah.
when
How
we went
fast you
down
going
there.
Not very fast.
What can you
like
describe
going
what's
real
happening in the
fast.
video so Damon knows?
Drew is talking right now in the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is this when we went over the bridge?
Yep,
Yeah,
for the
okay.
first
Yes,
time.
the bridge was it was interesting because you couldn't see anything for a while because it was a big hump there, and you got to the peak of it, and then you saw the Atlantic Ocean.
Yep.
We are coming up over the bridge on Ocean Isle Beach, and you will be seeing the Atlantic Ocean here once we get over this bridge. You are watching the original father-son voiceover podcast.
Isn't that something? Beautiful.
Little zoom in there. Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina.
Yep, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then Drew panned beautifully, focused in on it.
Yeah.
We'll get to that bridge again come Saturday.
Yes.
It'll come to us.
Yes. So then we went back to our verbal, of course,
Yep.
and stayed overnight. And then here came the shock.
Yep.
We went to the town area, the village city area, and it was busy. And as we came in, we looked to our right.
There's a little regional air, or not a regional, but like a small airport.
Yeah. And they were taking like big Greyhound buses down there, loading people up and taking them, carting them down there. Why? Because there isn't a whole lot of parking and there's so many people. I mean, I'm talking about a steady stream that's probably a mile long at least down to the beach to this oyster festival.
Wow.
It's probably from that roundabout to the actual bridge. I would say it's probably close to a third of a mile, maybe a little further. And then, you know, the bridge itself is probably 2/10 or a quarter mile itself. And then, but the way it was backed up, they were having a hard time getting around the roundabout. It was backed up that far.
Yeah.
We had to let people in or try to figure out our way. So we said, we're not doing this. We are going to park and we're going to walk across. It can't be that far. It was pretty far.
It was probably about a mile and a half, wasn't it, down there?
It was a long way.
Around that, but we had to go up that bridge again
It's
that
a
you
long
saw
way to
earlier.
the top,
Yeah.
is what you were saying.
But it was worth
Terry
it.
Douglas wants to rock and roll.
It was
You're right.
worth it.
And that's where this next video, I think, comes in, where we're walking the bridge that we
On the way.
Yes.
we drove the night before.
And Drew was
Doing a little
wanted
bit of
us to do the, and I would
The
walk
Proclaimers. Yeah, 500 miles.
500 miles and I would.
No, I just show my feet.
500 more just to be a man who
Yeah.
walked
You're almost perfectly in time.
1,000
You bet.
miles.
Yeah, I was trying.
Oh no, got your finger in there.
Yep. Then I turn around and showing little everybody else there, a couple of other podcasters.
Dad's just waving to the locals.
Yeah, he is.
You really can't.
Don't
It was kind of
hassle
funny.
his
Let me
local.
tell you this: the cars would come by and people would talk to us.
Yeah, because
Because they were
Oh,
going
cool.
so slow, and then especially they had golf carts, a lot of golf carts that
yeah.
people were just right in the midst of the traffic. So there'd be big buses, and then there'd be cars and trucks, and they're all in line, and then there'd be these golf carts. And
It'd be fun to
especially-
have my moped down there.
Yeah, and
and
I
out.
noticed that
Yep.
especially with the go-karts, people felt because they were right there, they felt like they needed to wave to you and talk to you more.
I like that.
Because it was just, it was fun. It was a good
They
time.
did.
Friendly, friendly.
There were a couple people that kind of said the same thing.
Yeah.
Remember a couple times?
Like, we'll race you, or you're going to beat us down there, or something like
Yeah,
that.
and we tried to laugh as if it was the first time we heard it.
Did you pick a fake laugh for every single different time that you did it?
No, I just kind of stuck with the same one.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah, because
They
somebody
didn't
knew.
know.
True.
Yeah, they didn't
True,
know it was a
true.
fake laugh. Anyway, so then that was us walking down to the Oyster Festival, and the next one that we've got here. I'm sorry, I don't want to. We decided to have lunch down there.
Yeah, because they had food carts, all sorts of food carts.
Vendors, yep, all sorts of vendors down there. And really, it was kind of quite a few of them were more seafood themed. Like they had lobster and oyster, obviously, and a few other things. What were the crab cakes?
And
Calamari.
funnel cakes and
Funnel
stuff like
cakes.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
normal
They have
fare.
calamari.
Fare.
I don't know about that. I don't remember that. But anyway, this video is of us. This is kind of showing you some of the. This is just the food crowd, basically. So there was section off this food area, and then it goes all the way to the left as well. There, I just was showing the right, but you can see there the two vendors that we went to was a lemonade stand with fresh, very fresh squeezed
squeezed lemonade,
lemonade.
yep.
I guess I do pay a
Could
little
you
up
see
a little
them?
bit
Could
there.
you see them doing it?
Yes.
Yep,
They did it right there in front of you.
Yep. And then
about as fresh as it gets.
the other vendor we went to was barbecue. Day?
I don't
want to say it
remember.
was Day's Day, which is, I mean, that's fine.
They're joint.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Did
but
you
it was a little
did
bit
you guys
strange.
get any? Was it so
Make sure you're on
freshly
Mike's
squeezed
show.
that you got some seeds in it?
Yeah, there were some seeds on the bottom. Yeah, well, they dumped the whatever in. Like if you had a lime, they dumped the lime in there, or if you had lemon, they dumped the lemon in there.
peels,
Yep.
So you had limeade
The
then?
squeezed leftover. Yeah.
Could have limeade. That's what
Yep.
you're saying.
You could have all sorts of. We had
Watermelon,
You
there
had
was
mango.
mango.
You had
I had orange.
orange. I had blueberry.
Blueberry.
And Mom had just regular lemonade. But they
Regular.
had others. They had other kinds too.
Yeah.
It was
Interesting.
good.
Yeah.
I would have
Really
strawberry.
good.
And then so was the barbecue.
I think they
thought.
had strawberry.
Did
yeah,
they have
barbecue was
did
pretty
they
good,
have
too.
lemon ice there though?
No. Well,
Okay.
they did. They had a nice.
They had huge chicken or huge turkey legs that you could buy at
Yeah.
this barbecue
Huge.
place.
Drumsticks,
and
big
then
drumsticks.
bacon wrapped chicken breasts,
Ooh.
and then they had sandwiches, and then they had
Sandwiches.
Ham Sammys.
what else did they have?
Bacon wrapped chicken. Did you say that
Yep, I
already?
said that,
All
yep.
right. I just thought I'd say
and
it
then
again.
like wings and things like that. Yep.
Yeah.
And then pork rinds, I think, or their own made pork rinds or something
Yeah.
like that.
And cracklins.
Cracklins. Yep.
Are those the same as
Is that
chitlins?
chitlins?
I don't know.
It's cracklins. I think are pork, like the fat, the back fat.
Oh,
that's,
chitlins
deep
are
fried.
in intestines. They're
No,
the-
they weren't chitlins.
yeah.
They're cracklins.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yep. So then we had we were going around to some of the vendors here, and lo and behold, we went to one of the vendors that was a charcuterie board, Lazy Susan's, and because of Hudson's charcuterie comment the
boards.
last or 2 times ago,
Was that the apothecary?
No,
Was that,
that
or was
was-
it
That was
Iron
the
Tap?
tap house. I
Iron
think
Tap
they have
House.
That's where we
charcuterie
first heard about it
Yeah.
from Michelle at the 1850. She
but
said
these were
charcuterie board.
beautiful, beautifully made charcuterie boards. So, I mean, I don't know if I've seen many before, but these were beautiful.
Did you take a picture of it?
We sure did.
Some of them are.
Of the actual
How
stuff
expensive
that
were
were on
those
the board?
charcuterie boards?
Oh, they didn't
No,
have
they didn't
anything.
have. These were
okay.
just
These
the
were just
boards that
selling
you could
them.
put the meat
okay,
and
the
the
wood
meat
stuff
stuff
that
on.
you
How
can
expensive
put.
were
Some
they,
of them
do you
were
know?
big.
Yep.
Some of them were huge.
Yeah.
And it's like you're going to have a lot of whatever you're going to put on there. You're going to,
Seriously,
yeah.
there
You
was
gotta
one that was
love
probably
You're gonna have to
this
have a lot of
big
charcuterie
that had
around
like a
that.
little like a handle to it, but
Did
it was
it
like a
spin
big
too?
No, it was this
Oh.
one was just a board.
So they're basically like big pizza style, like
Can be any
boards,
kind of.
but they're
But they're not.
for
They're charcuterie. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, these were Lazy Susans.
Yeah. Mhm.
charcuterie boards, but I think they can be anything that's kind of a Anyway,
Just like a big
Display
like
board.
almost, yeah.
you bet. Yeah, you got it. We're on there. But then did another little better picture. People, I was taking pictures of this, and there were people trying to kind of duck and get out of the way. I said, "You don't need to get out of the way." I just
You're the ambiance of the picture.
yeah.
I think
you
they
have
knew
to,
that you
though?
were from the podcast.
That's
and so they
probably
were
true,
just
yeah.
trying
Give
not
you
to.
permission to use their picture.
They did not give me permission,
Yeah.
but I feel like they gave you permission to look.
That's free
so
advertising.
That's free advertising. And then I think the final one that we were going to share was the encore of the Terry Douglas band, which they called it the Terry Daniels band. Jonathan thought it was the Terry Daniels band as well.
Who called it that?
The
the
people
guy that was
MC.
the MC.
Oh, I was going to say the
was
people
like, hey,
that
give
are.
it up for the Terry Daniels band. And then
Was it
and
the
then he's
guy
like,
from? Was it the guy from? You're casting over your heads.
I
He would
don't
be
think
perfect
so.
for something like
I
that.
guess I didn't get a good enough look, but I didn't think it was.
The Terry Douglas band is
know.
from Columbus, Ohio, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And there were so many things about the Oyster Festival that were,
Impressive.
top notch, impressive. The crowds were impressive. The Terry Douglas band was really impressive because as we were coming over the bridge at maybe 12:10, we could hear him playing at 12:10, going strong. We got down there. We ate, we looked around. I mean, and it's not easy with that many people we had to stand in line for almost a half an hour to get our food.
Yep.
And he's playing and he's going strong. He and
Bringing
his
it.
band.
He's bringing
and
it.
not taking a break. They didn't take a break. And we ate, we sat and ate, we walked around. Then we said, you want to come back in a while and go and see the oyster eating
ourselves, not to
contest?
Terry Douglas.
Yeah, not to Terry Douglas.
Terry.
And so we left and
And what you can do is, I have a picture that Damon can show of
a
like a stamp
yeah.
that they gave you on your arm, and I took a picture of that.
Stamp it up.
So you can come back in. So you could leave the
Right.
premise.
Yeah. Yeah. So we left
nice.
and we walked down about 15 minutes to a public beach area. So we went to the beach We could hear him playing
20 minutes,
way off in the back.
30 minutes.
Yeah. And we were there for probably 20, 30 minutes. We walked all the way back. He's still playing, going strong. And so we watched, and that's when this took place. This was the finale at 3 o'clock. He played 3 hours. We ate, we went to the beach, we stood in line, we looked at all of the things. I went to the bathroom 3 times. I mean, Terry.
He brought it. Brought his game.
Was there. He's the man. He and his band are the man.
And we didn't hear another voice the whole time.
No, I think he's saying every.
Is he the voice of the Oyster then, basically?
But there was a video of Mom got a video of them of the oyster eating contest.
That's true. Yeah,
and that was.
But first, this you got to go with this.
So I'll just show this
the final song.
This is the finale. Yeah, exactly. And Dad even lets us know. And then we had 2 lone dancers that jumped out for the finale.
Because there was a dancing area.
A male and a female. And the male, I didn't watch the woman as much, but the man, and you can see here, he got out on the dance floor, started doing his move, and I think he realized, oh no, I have one move. And he just kind of stuck to it then the whole time. And they were kind of hoping, I think, that other folks would join them.
That was the goal, I think.
And it was quite a time before anybody decided to join. Thankfully, a few people decided to join, and they were doing line dancing.
Yeah.
And that was pretty amazing,
pretty
especially compared to his dancing.
Was that appropriate for the music that was being played?
Oh, yeah.
They got in a rhythm.
I think the problem was genre was he playing?
So you've got to be on the microphone.
Huh?
It was country.
Country?
Yeah,
well, kind of everything. The finale was
you play for 3 hours.
Was rock,
like older country or
Get out.
Like Eric Church.
This one was Eric
stuff
Church.
like that. Okay.
This one was Eric Church.
Okay.
But he did a fair amount of country.
He played for 3 hours, so I'm sure he had to dive
touched
deep.
them all.
Yep.
Yeah. He did a lot of favorites. And then they even pulled from their own.
Oh.
They had a few of their own songs, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't really hear any of those, but he said we're going to take a few out of the back albums.
Wasn't it you though that said that the festival should have hired, or Terry Douglas should have hired a professional dancer, and when those people came up there, just said, "Hey, great job, but now let me take over."
Yeah, or just really get in there and kind of do some of the dances that they were doing, but then all of a sudden just rip off some really good dance moves.
That would have been cool.
That the crowd would have been.
That's something that's pretty impressive. Is somebody who can dance well. There's some people that can dance like okay, keep a beat, and it's like there's some people that can't, and then there's some people that it's like that person is head and shoulder. They're professional. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then Mom did a video of the oyster eating contest.
And that was hard to get in. You had to be there a little early, and we were there, I think, just in time to get enough to see.
We were about 4 deep
but
trying to get some pictures.
That's one of the big things that people are going to want to watch. So I think we got enough. I mean, she was able to get, because she's smaller, she was able to get kind of squeeze her way through.
Yeah, we got a taste, just a taste for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was fast. Yeah, that's thick and fast.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for the oral history with some pictures from your trip. So what we'll do is, do you think it'll take? We'll probably have to come. We'll come back.
Let's do that.
We'll come back. We'll give John all the time he wants to talk about the area and how it all
a little
came
history,
about.
kind of like we did with Florida and we've done with the states, but this is more so a focus on the specific area that we went, and then just a little history on the festival itself.
It'll be good.
All right, we'll be right back.
So this is going to be about the area, but it's going to be specifically about this festival and such.
Yeah, we might need, this is off the internet. So if for some reason somebody's watching in Ocean Isle Beach or the surrounding areas and there's some discrepancies here, just so Damon has that caveat or that disclaimer thing. Yep. Mm-hmm. Just because, and they can write in and say,
you got it wrong.
You got it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we got to get it right, though.
Yep. So
we're back with the 30th episode, and this is going to be a little bit of history and what else?
History and maybe a couple fun facts about both Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina, where we stayed, and then the North Carolina Oyster Festival. I believe that's the name of it that we attended. Okay. The history on that. So I'll just go through it if people want to make a comment. This doesn't have to. It's just some quick hitting facts.
See, just before you start, we're from Wisconsin, and not to get off track too far, but when we went to Arizona, that's I was amazed because I have the idea of Arizona being cactus,
the desert. Just a desert.
And North Carolina, you have an idea, but there are so many wonderful things. You've got the mountains, like you said. You got the beach
in the east.
Then you go even where we stayed, just a few miles.
Looked like Upper Michigan
there are pine trees, and there's and there were deer out. It's a great.
They have cotton fields, and they have tobacco, and it's unbelievable kind of.
They got barbecue,
and they got barbecue
and oysters.
Well, let's hear about it.
Sure. So the island, even though it's called Isle Beach, was looks like it was created around 1934. I don't know if people started living on it. I didn't get all that information.
When you say created, you mean it was?
They built up I think they had to build up the land a little bit to
they did
make it.
But it was incorporated, or
well, I'm getting to that.
Oh,
sorry. But this is when it was created. I believe
I was trying to make sure I understood.
Yes.
It was developed
because there are
developed,
because there are certainly some islands that are just totally man-made. And I was just curious if that was the case.
I'm not sure about that. That's why we need Damon to have that.
Okay,
and then if anybody's watching in that area, just
set the record straight.
We're from Wisconsin, and we just visited for a few days. So hey, listen, set us straight.
This is your deal.
Yep. It was incorporated in 1959.
Okay.
And I can't remember the population, but it was very small. I want to say a family or two that was living there. So very small. And to give you a understanding of what it is now, the population in 2020's census was 867 people.
Wow.
What?
It's probably
residents. Around residents.
I mean, they talk about how they had, when we walked down that way towards the beach when we were taking a time between the festival and going back for the oyster eating contest, you saw all those rental homes and stuff. So I think, that wasn't necessarily the busy time for them, but it was
quite the tourist place, obviously.
Yes.
But think about that. Our little village here, Mazomania, 1,600.
Yep.
That is half, but it didn't look like they got a Publix, and they've got all sorts of restaurants, and they've got all sorts of
are awesome.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it looked like a much bigger city, well, of course, because they have residents that aren't year round there.
Yeah, and I don't know for sure if this is all information. I mean, I think the population includes all of them, but if it's over the bridge or or not, but the square miles of the actual isle is 4.5 square miles.
Oh, wow.
And then only 3.4 of it makes up land, and the rest is the ocean or whatever. It's known as the Gem of the Brunswick Islands. I believe it's in Brunswick County.
It sure is. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
a gem.
Yeah. Home to many different animals. Obviously, we saw deer. There's foxes around.
We saw a fox.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Remember, we saw a fox when we were out on that drive.
Sea turtles and a variety of snakes. So that's kind of what makes up that island. Snakes. The current mayor is Debbie Smith. I don't know how long she's been in office.
Debbie.
But that's
Who is
the current
Debbie?
mayor.
Debbie.
And then to some,
mayor?
obviously being an island in the Atlantic, you're subject to hurricanes. So in 1989, Hurricane Hugo devastated the island. It was a Category 5.
Wow.
And I believe it hurt the beach quite a bit too. Damaged it quite a bit. And I don't know how all this got, but they asked for like government aid over the time to build up the beach again because it's such a important part of their tourism and making money. But I guess eventually in 2008, they won the award for the best restored beach. That was in 2008.
Was their slogan "Build Back Beaches"? Maybe.
Probably not. But
No.
weren't you the one that said that there are companies that come in when the hurricanes, and they don't just. You would think of them rebuilding business, rebuilding
I have
businesses
some agents that have that, yeah.
and obviously they're rebuilding businesses and homes and stuff like that, but they're rebuilding beaches, right?
Yeah, they have businesses down there that do beach rehabilitation. That's what they call it, I think. An agent was telling me that he's got a few contractors that do that, and they come and they pull sand from other places and dump it on where the beach was, and they build back those sand dunes.
Transplanting sand.
Yep. They build back those sand dunes, which you could get a fine for being on, remember?
Yep.
You thought, or somebody thought originally, that the sign said that you could have $100,000 fine. And I thought, wow, they're pretty serious about being on those dunes. But it in turn came out to be $100.
Yeah, which is a big...
That is a very large difference.
Not that you'd want to get on there and start, digging on their dunes, because for one thing, that's a water kind of a natural barrier to help keep them safe.
Yeah. So, what was Dad doing on the dunes? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Well, to me, like that's another. It's like those days. It's like you got an award for the best restoration. It's like, it's like.
Well, but they
wouldn't have any beaches if they don't restore them.
Okay.
Have they ever been to Beach Marion?
Yeah.
Like Marion.
Maybe they restored that one.
That was restored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's like
at the
best restore. It's like, okay, great, we did it, but we don't need an award for it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, you don't want that people are giving out awards willy-nilly.
It's like giving out, yeah.
But listen, I mean,
strive for,
listen,
Joe, think about this.
Maybe
there's other restoration.
If we got an award for the best podcast, we'd all be stoked. We'd talk about it. We'd want to know about that. That's their
best podcast. That's
this is their thing,
though. Restoration.
But that's
this is their thing. I mean, they live in that area. This is important to them.
They strive
brings
for
a lot of
money.
lives. It's
Joe. Wow. Okay.
I had to be as strong with Joe as he was getting back at it.
And then they had another.
That's how you fight fire.
I'm still right.
Another smaller hurricane, obviously, Category 1, hit in 2020. I don't know. I think it's Isaias. It's Isaias. And there was significant wind damage. And you think about it, I mean, even a Category 1, if you're the first thing that it's hitting, being the beach or the places, the first houses that they're hitting, you're probably going to have some.
Did they win the award? Will they win that award again, or is that
first
just a
first houses hit by Category 1?
In all seriousness, the point is when you're from the Midwest, and you tornadoes are big here, and you can get scared about that and stuff. But we don't live with that all the time. They live with that not year round, but especially certain times, this time of year. And it could be a huge,
devastating.
So awards and companies that do that and planning for that and restoring that, all that kind of stuff is just,
it's important.
That's
their
their
way of
life. Yeah. And you met a lot of agents that I'm sure are living that, because they have big deals, as far as insurance claims and stuff like that down there. Right. That's a huge part of what they do.
Well, and Drew talked about Hilton Head Island, and we talked about Myrtle Beach. And while those places were nice, this was nice. I know it's probably not peak season for tourism, but it was a lot quieter than those beaches. At least I don't know about Hilton Head, but from what I gathered from what you said, so it was a nice place to go. That was not. It was kind of away from, even though it would probably been even more quieter if it would have been the festival time.
Yeah, right.
But it was nice to go someplace that was you could walk around and not be crowded in people's way, if you will.
We would have preferred if there were some larger waves. That's one thing we'll say. There just weren't the waves weren't very big. But
no.
So. But then we would have been embarrassed, because we've done that in Texas, and we've done that in Florida, and we're out there swimming, or trying to swim, and it's cold, and all the people that live down there are going, what are those
You
Northerners
must be from
doing
the
here?
north. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't swim at this
So
time
we didn't
of
do
year.
that this time.
We don't swim at this time of year.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for at least the history or some fun facts about Ocean Isle Beach, and then just a few things about, the first, the North Carolina Oyster Festival. So it began in 1978 in October, and I believe it was just,
Yep.
I can't remember how many. The total attendees were 700 people. This was,
The first one?
Yep. There was so that's a lot of people.
Could I have my 1978 pin there?
Yeah.
You see it right there?
This one.
Yeah. Throw me that. I'm going to wear that in honor because that's the year I graduated from high school.
Yeah, they did it. Maybe they did it because I don't know.
I
Anyway.
doubt it, but the point being is
They're not going to be able to see that, I don't think, Dad, because it's behind your
That's a
microphone.
thought that counts.
Yep. High school.
Just put it on your skin.
There you go.
Just,
Yep.
yeah.
And they did it. At least the explanation is just because that was the end of the time that people were, all the tourists were coming, the vast majority of them, and so it was a way to get together,
Celebrate them leaving.
Well, maybe that was part of it. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yep. The highlights were of the oyster thing was not only the oyster eating contest for the first one, but also a fishing contest.
Oh.
It was between
that,
the three piers that make up that along the Ocean
were the
Isle
three
Beach.
piers?
Holden Pier,
he just happens to have those.
Ocean Isle, and Sunset Beach.
Nice.
Yep. And they had different, probably weight, but then also a number of fish, and then some other things that they
Length,
Other
weight.
categories.
categories. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sure.
And the prize at that time was $20.
Wow.
In 78?
I believe that's right for grand total prize. So again, that disclaimer, if somebody's watching that
In
was either at
78
the
that
first
was?
one or is on
Yes,
that committee.
correct.
There was a 6-mile run on Holden Beach. I don't know how
On
that,
the beach?
Running on sand is
I believe
is
that's what it
tough.
was. I mean, I believe that's where it was.
Was it hard sand? Like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like real close to the water where
Well,
it keeps it compact.
No, was it matted down?
Can you-
Because that
Joel,
place
can
that
you
we
make
went
sure
to,
you're-
that
Thank
place
you.
that we went to was
Jamaica
in
Beach.
Jamaica Beach was
Yeah.
really hard.
Well,
you could drive a truck on.
It's a good point because like even when we were after we dropped, you went away on and we went back to Myrtle Beach. There's like a layer of really sharp shells and stuff. Then there's a layer of hard packed, and then there's a layer of loose sand. And if you get in that nice hard packed stuff, you could make hay running. Where if you're either running without shoes, tough being on the shells, or trying to slog through sand, that'd slow you down a bit. So anyway,
6 miles of that.
Yeah, and then a bike race on Sunset Beach. I don't know if these were like on. I don't know how it's all split up.
They
My
might
guess
have
would be is
like
it's
a
not-
road that they can
yeah,
do it on. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, and then Saturday night there was a street dance.
Oh, street dancing.
and that was the first one you said.
Yep. Mhm.
Nice. Started in 1978.
They may have carried that on, as years progressed. I don't know if that happened. I don't think that happened while we were there. But anyway, the total attendees, like I said, was 700. The first one. There were 150 pounds of oysters and 250 pounds of fish consumed at that one.
Wow.
And there was a total of 50 cooks on hand.
Wow.
Well, let me tell you, there was a lot more food eaten, a lot more oysters probably consumed, a lot more cooks out there. That's for sure this time.
And then one last thing about it was that there was a famous attendee in 1980. I'm sure there's probably other ones that have come, but one that really stuck out.
Would he have been that? Would he have
No.
been old enough to-
Who was it?
It was Richard Petty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we heard about that, didn't we?
He's
Yep.
from the Ashboro area,
Okay.
I believe.
So
Because they
anyway,
have
that was
a
a-
Richard Petty museum.
Okay. But that was a big to-do for the Oyster Festival when he
The
came
king,
down.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
the gang.
Came down for that. And I don't think that they had. So the big thing was the oyster eating contest. I believe the first one. I'm not sure if they had all that they had this time, which was the shucking contest. When we went down there,
Oyster shucking,
oyster
not
shucking.
corn.
Right.
Yep. From they did an amateur time and then professionals, which that must just be. I don't know if they do it for their job or if they've just done it for a long time or what. how they determine what a professional is.
Yeah.
And then they had a eating contest, and then on Sunday they did like a stew off or a soup, oyster stew.
Yeah.
Where you
Like
could
a chili
enter.
off.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. Oyster stew. Yeah.
So that concludes what I knew about or what I found out about the first one, which then laid the groundwork or laid the groundwork
Foundation.
for what was going to go on in the future.
And so
they've-
concludes our play.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The hospitality
Yep.
was great.
Yep.
The people were fun.
Yep. It was beautiful
the
weather.
activity, it was beautiful
75
weather. It
or
was
so
just
degrees.
Sunny and
it's a
75.
great thing to head down to the Oyster
Yeah.
Festival. That was
Yep.
a great that was a great find. We had no
Something
idea
totally
we were
different.
going to do it. Yep.
I would almost say it was a gem.
Yep.
It was a gem.
It was a gem of Brunswick.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Full circle.
Put a nice little bow
Well,
on
thank you
that.
guys for bringing all that stuff. We hope you enjoyed this edition, episode 30 of the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. If you want more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you liked it, like it. Comment too on our YouTube page, because guess what? It helps us out quite a bit. So thank you for spending your time with us, and we will see you on the next episode, which is 31. So this is us signing off from the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast studios. Did you like that video? Check out more from the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast right over here, or subscribe to our channel right here.